What's up, aliens? It's Big Al. Welcome to another Dumb Sports Empire. Just like that, football is gone. Week 18 ended today. The Pittsburgh Steelers limped into the playoffs. The Browns nailed the number two pick. Awful, awful weekend for me. Pretty good weekend for you. I mean, it only could have gone better if you won, if you got the number one pick.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been cool to get the number one pick, but then we would have fucked something up. So I'm kind of glad we don't have it. Just because I feel like that number one pick is going to be some kind of fuckery that happens. I don't know. I don't even know who I want, really. I mean, I don't know that I necessarily really want Travis Hunter if he doesn't go number one. I definitely don't want fucking Shador. So I think I said it in the group chat like last week or the week before that this is like the only year in like the past like 10, 15 years or so that I genuinely want the Browns to trade back and try to stockpile some picks.
This is the year to do it on a shitty quarterback year. Um, not many teams are going to be jumping up. Like, I don't know why anyone would jump up to a one spot to get like Cam Ward or like that's the only QB I can really think of that's going to go in the top five probably. Cam Ward,
Yeah. Because
Shador.
now it's
Eh,
coming out that all these coaches or scouts or whatever are saying that they don't even have a first round grade on Shador. Like that was
yeah,
on ESPN.
I said third round before the year started. They outperformed a little better than what I guess we all thought they were going to do, but still, I mean, it's they think he's going to get a top five pick already, and they're like, oh, we're deciding where he's going to go and all that bullshit. That's not going to happen. But let's roll right into it. I was hoping the Ravens would lose to the Browns yesterday. Um, they got taken to Browntown. I kind of want to go through who had like the most disappointing seasons, and I'm not trying to pile on or anything like that. What do you think about the Browns season?
Oh, I think
What
it was
positive? What else
I
is
think
gonna?
if you're looking at the most like disappointing seasons, I think it's got to be Cleveland and the Jets have got to be like tied right there for who had the worst, or at least most disappointing season. Because I mean,
Yeah,
everybody's expecting the Jets to get Aaron Rodgers back and do great things, and the Browns, started to put it together a little bit last year, but I mean, it was awful. Like the last 3 weeks, I didn't even really watch the games like at all, which is crazy because you know, I watched every game through the 0-16 season, and it was just like it's just
did you
hard to
really?
watch.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, it's sucks, but it's my team, so I'm gonna root for them, die hard, with the Browns and with the Buckeyes. Um, but I think, you know, when it became more and more, you know, evident that losing was our best option, to try to, get into draft position, I can't watch and root for that. It's just,
Hmm.
I can't do it. And then they benched Jameis or he got hurt, whatever it was. Jameis at least made the games entertaining,
Hmm.
because he's taking risks. We were putting up points. But DTR is awful. Like, I mean, he honestly shouldn't even be on a team. He can't throw the ball at all. Um, and then we started Bailey Zappi today, like, or yesterday. It's embarrassing, to watch year after year. I watched this waste a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer with Joe Thomas. They wasted his entire career, and now they're doing the same with Miles Garrett. But Miles, unlike Joe Thomas, has come out and said like, if we're gonna have to rebuild again, just trade me because he doesn't want to be a part of it. And I don't blame him. The guy is on his way towards being in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the premier edge rushers in the game. He's a game changer. Like, imagine if we were playing, if he, imagine his stats if he was playing on a team that was competent on offense and teams actually had to play from behind where they were passing the ball more. They have so many more opportunities to get, sacks and pressures and whatnot. And like everybody wants to win. You don't go to the NFL just to say, "Oh, I played in the NFL." Like everybody's goal is to win the Super Bowl. And the Browns just that's not even a realistic goal for them. Probably not for the next 3 years.
Yeah. Do you think Kevin Stefanski stays? I know he fired Dorsey, his OC, and his O line coach today. Um, do you think that makes me think that he's staying? Because I feel like if you approached a GM, we're like, hey, I'm going to fire these guys, and he said, no, hold on, then you're all just getting fired. But if he said, yeah, go ahead and fire him, then he probably thinks you're sticking around.
No, yeah, they're not going to fire Stefanski. I mean, as much as I get frustrated with him, he is a two-time coach of the year. So, um, you're not going to get rid of him, at least not yet. Um, we lost one of the best offensive line coaches in the game because he went to Tennessee to coach with his son, Callahan. And the offensive line, I mean, it showed it. The offensive line sucked ass this year. I mean, there were a lot of injuries, but they were terrible. We couldn't get any run game going, even when Nick Chubb came back, which he didn't look the same when he came back. Jerome Ford, the only way he's going to get yards is if he has a burst play. You know, there was times where he'd have like 12 carries for 20 yards, and then he busts out a 40, 50-yard run that makes his stats look okay, and he just wasn't. Um, so I don't know. I think one of the only bright spots on the team this year was Jerry Judy. Including you. Everybody talks shit about us bringing on Jerry Judy, and he put up a fucking killer year.
Mm-hmm.
Amari Cooper sucked ass. He couldn't catch a ball this year.
No, 100%. Um, yeah, as much as I didn't want the Browns to be successful, I always watched and I always rooted for your guys' happiness, even though it doesn't seem like it because I act like a cunt in the group chat a lot. But whenever the Steelers weren't playing, I was literally watching the Browns. Like, I hope they play better. And I remember watching the Cowboys game, and
Oh, that was
they kicked the living shit out of you guys, and I was like, "Ooh, are they not gonna have another good year?" And no, that was crazy that happened, and I was like, "Oh, this doesn't feel like it's gonna be good again." And then from then
well,
on, I
and it's
mean,
crazy too because yeah, I mean the beginning of the year, that's the first game of the year, and everybody hates the Cowboys, but like that first game, I was like, fuck, maybe the Cowboys are like the real deal this year. And then it came out to be that no, we just fucking suck because they also suck. So it's frustrating.
yeah, no, I that was crazy. On the other hand, the Ravens they win the AFC North yesterday by beating you guys. They look fucking unstoppable, and the schedule just came out. We're playing them on Saturday night. I think that's what I read correctly. Yeah, first game is the Chargers at Houston. I feel like Houston always gets the early game on a Saturday. Like they never get a good time slot in the playoffs. And even back when JJ Watt was there, last year it was you guys and them at the early game. Now they get another early game. Oh, and ours is going to be on Prime too. That fucking blows. We're going to get our shit kicked in. So us at Baltimore Saturday night, and then the early game Sunday is Denver at Buffalo. Green Bay at Philadelphia in the afternoon, and the night game is Washington at Tampa Bay. That's kind of interesting for the Sunday night game. I would have thought Green Bay at Philadelphia might be better, but I guess we already saw a primetime game with Green Bay and Philadelphia back in week one. And then
Yeah.
Minnesota Detroit loser will play at the Rams on Monday night. I fucking hate Monday night playoff game. That's such a disadvantage to take a day away from a team.
Yeah. Amon Ross St. Brown came out and said it, and people have said it in the past too, that, yes, every division winner should make the playoffs, but it should be based off your seeding should be based off of your record. Like, so yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
because it's a prime example with Detroit and who are they fucking playing?
Minnesota.
The Vikings. It's a prime example with Detroit and the Vikings because they're both 14-2 right now. So divisional winner is going to be 15-2, and second place is going to be 14-3. So you're going to have a team that's 14-3 playing an away game against the team that's maybe got 9 wins, 10 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just crazy. It's like you're not rewarded for that. Like it, you know, Granted, it doesn't always happen that your division is that top heavy and it's so stacked that, teams are that good. But it they need to do something.
Yeah. Um, Especially when you get the shit divisions in there. You had who was it a couple of years ago? It might have been Tampa Bay that won their division at 8-8 or 7-9. You get Seattle did it. I think the year Beast Mode
The
happened.
Beastquake,
Yeah, the
the
Beast
Beastquake, they
Quake
were 9-7. I think they were
seven and
nine and
nine.
seven,
I think they were seven and
7 and
nine.
9.
Yeah.
Yep. No, you're right. They had a losing record,
Hmm.
made
And
the
they won a
playoffs,
playoff game.
and then beat. Yeah, they won a playoff game. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah. So I mean, any given Sunday with the NFL, but like you said, you could win your division technically at 5-12, and then host a really good wild card team. I mean, that theoretically could happen, which is shitty. But um, yeah, no, the Ravens look like an unstoppable fuck wagon right now, and the three teams that really set themselves aside in the AFC, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Ravens, look fucking incredible right now. Um, that's gonna suck. So let's talk about last night. My Steelers versus Stan's Bengals. God, dude. I don't even know where to begin. The offense looks fucking putrid right now. It is so embarrassing to watch. I tweeted it like 7 times. I was like, this is fucking embarrassing, dude. This is Matt Canada all over again. We got baby hands Kenny Pickett playing quarterback, Vietnam flashbacks to this bullshit. And then we
Well,
start playing, and George Pickens drops a fucking deep ball. He drops a post. Russ running, staying in bounds at the end of the game. Miss Pickens on a deep ball. He probably would have
yeah,
fucking
that
dropped
was
it anyway.
stupid.
Would have dropped the ball anyway, probably. Um, Offense can't do shit. I was hating our defense yesterday, but looking back on it, to only give up 19 points to Joe Burrow when he's fucking on fire right now, I think was kind of a win for the defense. We held him to a lot of field goals, which, I mean, you got to take your wins against a really good MVP level quarterback when you can get them. But um, man, do I fucking hate the Steelers this past month. We got screwed on the 11 day schedule of the Eagles, Ravens, and Chiefs, but we did not look good in any single one of those games. And we didn't look good in 3.5 quarters of the game last night. And I can't believe we clinched a playoff spot a month ago, or we would have gotten kicked out of the playoffs in a fucking heartbeat. Like we would have lost our game last night and been kicked out of the playoffs today if we didn't secure a month ago. It's fucking
Yeah.
crazy, dude. I don't even want to watch the game next week. I just know we're gonna get fucking raped.
Well, I hate to jump on you because I mean you guys did have a good season, but um I told you you guys hiring Arthur Smith was not going to work out. I don't think he's a good coach. I don't think he's a good coach. I don't think he's a good play caller, and it shows. Like there's clearly something going on with your offense because you've got good talent. It shouldn't be this bad. Like your offensive line isn't good. Like who is it? Dan Moore gets fucking exposed every game.
They never take him out. And we had
Yeah.
two back-to-back first round left tackles we drafted. Fautanu got hurt. He's been out all year. I think we dislocated his knee like week 3. So he never really got a chance to shine. Broderick Jones's head is in the fucking clouds worse than Pickens sometimes. So you have to leave Dan Moore out there. And like you said, he gets fucking dominated. The Miles Garrett
He
game
gave up 3.5 sacks to Trey Hendrickson last night.
it's fucking crazy. And I always thought Trey Hendrickson wasn't that good. And then he comes out on national TV against my team and fucking blows up our whole offense.
Yeah,
Russ
he's
can't get
the
rid of the
sack
ball.
leader.
He can't get rid of the fucking ball to save his life. He gets sacked so much. Every time he gets sacked, I get fucking pissed because he doesn't get rid of the ball.
Yeah,
And then he tries to
yeah.
run it.
And then that, like
The
you
runner.
you touched on it, that staying in bounds. Like he tried to truck that dude at the end. Like, what are you fucking doing?
Yeah.
Like that killed like an extra 12 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, if not way more. He could have
Yeah.
seen that that was fucking hopeless and tossed the ball out of bounds and been
Yep.
totally fine to get 3 yards. Like, what the fuck are we doing, dude?
Yeah.
It's,
Dumbass. But
he,
the whole like Pickens thing, like I just don't get it. Obviously, like I don't like the Steelers. It's a rival. I don't like the Steelers, but I don't know how you guys keep him on the team. Like I get it that there's talent there, but he just seems like such a cancer. I mean, he had 6 targets yesterday, 1 catch for 0 yards, 3 drops, and then like he's getting into it with fans in the
That
stands
was
during
so
the
funny.
games. Like, dude, what are you doing?
I honestly laughed out loud when they put that on the thing because Troy Aikman was like, he's got 3 drops, and then they cut to him yelling at fans, and Fryermuth had to go get him. And he's like, he's there John with fans. And I was like, that's the most George Pickens thing I've ever seen to have the worst
My
game of your life and then just be talking shit to fans. It honestly
my
made me laugh.
favorite thing ever. My favorite thing during football season is all the fucking memes and like gifs and whatnot of it's like, somebody like what's the big one? The big one's from like Pride, where it was Don Fry and that Asian guy fighting and just bashing each other in the face left and right. And the words say like, Russ just completes, or Najee Harris run for 8 yards somewhere downfield. George Pickens with the cornerback just fucking beating the shit out of each other. Like,
The
I mean,
Tim
he's just a
Robinson
dumbass.
the Tim Robinson one fucking kills me every time too. It's like, I think I really want to fucking fight this guy right now. This makes me laugh so hard every time because his head's down. Like, I just want to fucking fight this guy right now. I
When you
don't.
say something like that, I just really want to fight you right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I messed up the quote, but fuck, it's so funny. He's got to be schizophrenic or fucking autistic or something like really fucked up. Because how do we draft like the most talented receivers and they're always just fucking diva dickheads? I mean, it didn't start with Antonio Brown, but he was one of the biggest ones. Then you got Chase Claypool, Martavis Bryant, Deontay Johnson. Now Pickens is a fucking nutcase, and they were all so talented. And then it's insane. It's insane to me. We have such a great eye for talent and zero eye for character, which is usually a big Steeler thing. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, is it? Is it? Huh.
Yeah,
What was Big Ben's character like?
a good Christian man that gave up pornography and made his life better.
Oh, okay.
Show me a conviction and I'll change my tune. We're gonna
Show me a
talk about
conviction on Deshaun.
it's 26 freaking
No, never convicted.
26 settlements.
They settled outside court.
You don't settle with someone that's innocent. Jesus Christ.
He's
Did
such a
Big Ben
piece of shit.
settle?
I fucking hate him so much.
Well, the good news is he restructured his contract, so you guys are gonna get him back next year.
I wish that somebody would restructure his life.
His Achilles got restructured. I think
Uh,
not in the first round, but I think you guys will draft a quarterback or well, they said they're going to bring in a quarterback or draft a quarterback as a competition, right?
I think the best thing we could do is bring in fucking Kirko Bangs. Atlanta's going to cut him because they don't want to pay his big amount that's due in like February or whatever. So Atlanta's going to cut Kirk.
Yeah.
So it's going
He
to be a
got
Russ Wilson situation where he can sign with somebody for like minimum because he's still making bank from Atlanta.
mhm.
Bring him in.
Yeah, what do you
Fuck
got to lose?
Deshaun's feelings. He's a piece of shit. Just bring in Kirk. Maybe he can get something going. I feel like Kirk had a rough go in Atlanta because look what he did in Minnesota. He was phenomenal in Minnesota, and
Yeah.
then he got hurt. And he goes to Atlanta, and Atlanta had, I mean, Drake London's good, and he's had a good year this year, but Kyle Pitts sucks. I thought that this was going to be like a big year for Kyle Pitts, and man, he is just hot ass.
Your relationship with Kyle Pitts fucking cracked me up because you're the definition of the meme that is like, I'm gonna draft Kyle Pitts this
No,
year.
I've only drafted Kyle Pitts once. So you kept
Oh,
saying that
really?
about me. I've only drafted him once. Yeah.
Well, I feel like
I
it's been
drafted
more
him
than one
this
time.
year. Now, Sean in our league drafted Kyle Pitts like every year in like one of his leagues. He like every year. This was the first year I drafted him. And I won that league, by the way. So suck my dick.
Yeah, he was not the same from the injury, and they never gave him the right time to get better. They honestly should have started Penix. So the way he was moving at the Steeler game, the first game of the season, I think we sacked him like 7 times or something. I thought we were going to win the Super Bowl because our fucking defense was incredible. but the he could not move that game. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's
uh,
probably fear. Andy's white, so
White in Atlanta is a bad place to be.
yeah, just he sticks out like a sore thumb at Magic City.
Bengals get eliminated. Um, it kind of sucks because I think Joe Burrow should be up in the MVP discussions. He had a really great year. I think 45 touchdowns, 44 touchdowns. It's really good. He's got close to 5,000 yards. I think we held him just under 5,000 yards. He should be in the MVP conversation, but you can't give it to a guy that didn't make the playoffs. I feel like I hate that they do that, but
Yeah,
you kind of
it
have
just
to.
sucks because it's gonna be fucking Lamar again.
I think Josh is favored, isn't he? I saw Josh at minus
He
150.
might be, but Lamar should get it, honestly. I mean, I don't I hate Baltimore. Really don't like Lamar that much. But stat wise, and like, his team is looking unstoppable right now. Granted, the Bills are too, but I mean, Lamar's better in I think every stat than um Josh Allen is.
Mm. And he had a dog shit year last year and still won the MVP. So this guy's going to
Yeah,
stack
so that's it.
MVPs.
He should not have won it last year,
Hmm.
and now he does deserve it. And they probably won't give it to him because these guys they hate giving the MVP to players back to back to back.
Yeah.
It's like that was the LeBron situation when he was in Cleveland and then Miami and whatnot. LeBron could have won the MVP every fucking year, but
Hmm.
they didn't want to give it to him. So I feel like that's what Lamar is going to run into now, where he like this is a year where he is like balled out, 100% deserves the MVP, and there's a good chance he won't get it, and it's
Hmm.
mainly just because they don't want to give it to him again.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah. So Bengals season, kind of a disappointment. Mostly on their defense, probably. The way
Oh
Burrow and
yeah,
Chase balled out.
but also I feel like a study needs to be done on why, like, what is going on with the Bengals that every year they start so slow. It's like they don't start playing until week 5 or week 6. Like what were
Yeah.
they 0-4 this year to start or
They
something
were in
like
a
that?
hole. They were in a fucking hole.
Like I mean it's unreal because Joe Burrow is an MVP caliber quarterback, just about every year. Jamar
Hmm.
Chase is a phenomenal player.
Hmm.
Chase Brown has become a pretty good running back. They've got a couple pieces on defense, but I just don't get it. Their defense as a whole is terrible, but just how they start so slow, it makes no sense. Like you should almost always pick against the Bengals weeks 1 through 4 because they're gonna suck ass.
Yeah. They lost to us last year, first game. No, the year before. When they were coming off their Super Bowl run, they lost to us week one to Mitch Trubisky. And I was like, there's no fucking way in any planet we should have won that game. And we did somehow. But yeah, no, they start. I think that year was the year Burrow was coming off the appendicitis he had in training camp. And then last year, he had some calf injury in camp that slowed him down the first part of
Yeah,
the year. This year, I don't know if anything happened. But they lost to the Patriots week one.
they lost the Patriots week 1, Chiefs by 1 point the next week, which that's not as bad of a loss,
No.
honestly. They lost to the Commanders, then they beat the Panthers, and then they lost to the Ravens close. So yeah, I don't know. It's like the first 4 weeks of the season, like even the Panthers, they only beat the Panthers by 10, and the Panthers were they kind of picked it up a little bit towards the end of the year,
At
but the
the
beginning
end.
of the year, they were awful. Like I thought the Panthers were going to go 0-16, 0-17 for a while.
Yeah, me too. Then Andy Dalton got in a car accident and the whole franchise got turned around. Some fucking reason, dude. Look at the look at the scores. Like he got in the car accident, Bryce got back in, and they looked like a competent football team. It was crazy.
It
Um,
was good to see Bryce get his shit together a little bit because I felt like they really fucked him over.
he looked
Like
good today.
yeah,
Um, all right, wrapping the Steelers shit up. As mad as I've been, kind of had to calm myself down a little bit. I looked at preseason expectations, and like when the schedule came out, the last half of our schedule was fucked. Um, I before the season, I was like, if we split in the AFC North, which we did, we went 3-3, and if we win 9 or 10 games, I think it'll be a really successful season. And it kind of sucks that we were at 10-3, and I was like, do we actually have a real shot at this? And then we lost out, um, finishing 10-7. I had to go back to my preseason expectations and be like, we were picked to be freaking last in the North again. We were all this stuff, and you know, they win. They're winning games. They lost to some bad teams like the Colts and the Cowboys. Won't get over those losses at the beginning of the year.
The Browns.
I I feel better about the Browns because how good your guys' defense is, and it was a fucking snow game that was incredible to watch, and it
Yeah.
was AFC North is always going to be different. Like we beat the Ravens in Pittsburgh somehow, and the Ravens are arguably one of the best teams the last month of the season. We beat them 6 weeks ago or whatever. Yeah, no, I got to be happy with what we have because I know some poor Clevelanders out there have it a lot worse than I do. So I just got to be grateful. I'm in the middle class America right now, and you're living in central Afghanistan.
Shut the fuck up. Good
Ah,
God.
fuck. All right, no more Steelers talk. I hope we win next week. We probably won't. That's the end of that. Um, Going to disappointing seasons, the Bengals were up there. You know what my most disappointing season is? The San Francisco 49ers. Coming off a Super Bowl, this is going to be one of their last years where they're not going to have to pay Brock Purdy. I think this is the end of his third year, so he's still on his rookie deal for one more year. They're going to give him a shitload of money in the offseason, probably. If not, they'll wait till next offseason. But when you have that kind of window, you found a franchise quarterback that you're paying $950,000 a year, and you can invest all this money in your defense, your receivers. That was absolutely abysmal. And I'm kind of picking on the Niners because I know so many Niner fans here in the Central Valley, but that was one of the most disappointing seasons in NFL history, in my opinion. With how talented that team is, how talented Shanahan is, how not great
Yeah,
that
but you
division
know what?
is.
I would come to their defense slightly just because you can't control injuries. And they had so fucking many injuries this year. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is always going to be in the running for either MVP or Offensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year because they refuse to give that to anybody MVP to anybody other than a quarterback.
Hmm.
But I mean, he didn't play. What did he play this year? Two games, one game.
Yeah,
They had so many injuries happen on defense. Debo Samuel like must have gotten hit by the Monstars because he completely forgot how to play football.
he got fat too.
Um, yeah. Um, and then
I,
like towards the end of the season, like their running backs, like that Gorendo came in, balled
mhm.
out, got hurt. Then somebody
Mason
else
was
came
balling
in.
out.
Yeah, Mason got hurt. Um, like yeah, it's a disappointing year, but it's hard to call it as disappointing when they just got hit by the injury bug, you know? Whereas like what I said earlier, disappointing like the Jets. Jets really didn't have any injuries. Um, they fired Robert Sala after what? What was it? 3 or 4 games,
Yeah, it was pretty early.
which is unreal. Aaron Rodgers. I used to always come to his defense because he's a great player and like he can be funny at times. Aaron Rodgers is just they always called T.O. Terrell Owens. They would say that T.O. stood for Team Obliterator. That's what Aaron Rodgers is because Aaron Rodgers kills these teams. He makes it all about himself. He had the Jets bring in all of his friends, his receivers that he wanted, spend all this money, and then he fucking sucked. Like, everybody made fun of Zach Wilson last year. Maybe it's not Zach Wilson.
Hmm. That organization too. I mean, they've been a dumpster fire. They haven't made the playoffs in 15, 14 years now, and that's an
And
insane thing
and
in the
now they're
NFL.
talking about and now they're talking about interviewing Ron Rivera and Rex Ryan again. Like what I said it in the chat when like the news came out about that. I don't understand what it is about the NFL and this merry-go-round where if you were once an NFL head coach, you're always going to be able to get a job as an NFL head coach. Like that shouldn't fucking matter. Like
Hmm.
Ron Rivera has had, what did he have? A couple good years with Carolina when Cam Newton was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from that, he's been a mediocre coach his entire career. Like,
Hmm.
what screams to you that this is a guy that needs to coach my team? Like, that's just so stupid. You got all these offensive coordinators that are coming up, defensive coordinators that are coming up that will never get these chances to be a head coach because we want to just keep, well, he's got experience. Let's bring him in. Let's bring him in. Fuck that. It's so dumb.
Hmm. No, 100%. My only argument with the Niners is I feel like they're so deep and they're so talented. They should have at least been in the running today for a playoff spot or a wild card or something. I mean, that's they were too good, and their quarterback was healthy all
Yeah, but
year.
I think everybody kind of knew though that Brock Purdy wasn't as good as what people made him out to be.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to get paid once his contract is up because he deserves to get paid better. But he's really not this like phenomenal quarterback. Sorry, Willie. Um, it's he's not like a freak athlete. He doesn't have a cannon for an arm. He makes the throws that a quarterback should make, but he's he was a primary benefactor of having unreal skill position players on his team.
Hmm.
He had Debo when Debo was in his prime. Brandon Ayuk was phenomenal. He had Christian McCaffrey, like Kyle
Kittle.
Juszczyk, yeah, Kittle. Like, it's hard to fail when you have those pieces around you. And he had a great offensive line. Trent Williams is going to be, a Hall of Famer.
Hmm.
And then the rest of the offensive line was good. So I
He's
think
gonna
that,
get the highest contract in the NFL this year because every quarterback every offseason gets the fucking highest
yeah,
paid NFL player, and
he's
Purdy's no
going
different.
to, but he doesn't deserve it. I really don't think that he's like that level of a quarterback.
None of them deserve it. Dak Prescott was playing like
No,
shit after signing his deal this year, and Trevor
yeah,
Lawrence, highest paid. Joe Burrow maybe is the only one that signed a deal and got significantly better. Herbert maybe. Tua signed a big deal this offseason and then got freaking mental retardation on the field and just fucking fell off the face of the earth. It's yeah, they're throwing
yeah,
money
he's
at
a
everybody.
PFR.
He is a PFR. Let's hit some of these games. Texans, Titans. I don't really have anything to say. Texans were locked into the 4 seed. Titans are on the clock, number one pick. I think they'll go Cam Ward. I mean, he's the only quarterback worth a shit, really, in my opinion. And
You think so?
Will
You think
Levis
they
is not the
go?
guy.
No, he's not. But I mean, they've drafted so many quarterbacks recently. Malik Willis.
You said it wastes like a first
Uh,
rounder on Malik Willis. He's a third
yeah,
rounder. I saw the draft order somewhere, but I didn't screenshot it. I think it's
I know
Titans,
it's
you,
Titans won, us,
Giants.
Patriots, Giants, and I don't know after that.
I don't see the Giants trading up to one for a guy like Cam Ward.
No.
They're the first team that really needs a quarterback. Patriots aren't going to get a quarterback at 4. Raiders. Yeah, the Raiders might fuck around and draft Shador. That's funny. Yeah, fuck the Texans, fuck the Titans. Panthers, Falcons. I was actually watching this game because it went to overtime. Let me say, if the best morning game is a Panthers Falcons game that doesn't mean a goddamn thing in week 18, the NFL scheduling is fucking stupid. Because I felt like none of the games today mattered. Yesterday's game mattered because the Ravens could win the North, and our game mattered because we could get the 5 and the Bengals could stay alive. None of the morning games mattered today. I think only one or two of the afternoon games mattered, and then you got the fucking night game is the
You're
only
getting a
game.
little choppy there.
Yeah, you're frozen. I was gonna keep talking and hoping it all recorded still. All right, you're back. Um, yeah, the scheduling sucks ass. I feel like there was only one game this whole day I felt like that mattered anything, and it was the Broncos Chiefs. Tonight's game obviously matters, but you just had a bunch of useless games today, and the Panthers Falcons was the best game of the morning. Um, Saints at Buccaneers. I think the Saints are one of the most disappointing teams. after they started 2-0 and scored 90 points in the first two games. Fell off a cliff. Bucks win their shit division. Bills Patriots. So Gerard Mayo gets fired after directly after this game.
That's yeah, that's bullshit.
He got Lovey Smith pretty much. Lovey Smith lost the Texans the number one pick 2 years ago, which they should thank him because they got CJ Stroud. And if they fired him directly after the game, and he didn't even make it to halftime of the afternoon games. Like he was fired before the games even got to halftime. I was like, God damn.
Which I
They told his ass
doesn't
to
make
lose.
sense. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me because not only was, he a first year coach there, he was a great fucking player for that organization too. It's just such a lack of respect from Robert Kraft to do something like that. Like, I don't understand how you can backtrack that far on thinking, hey, 1 year ago, this is our guy. We want him to be our head coach of this franchise. And then, nah, you know what? 1 year didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody expected the Patriots to be good this year. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, why are you firing a brand new head coach?
Yeah, I wasn't super shocked, but the way they were playing recently, I felt like if he started losing the locker room, I felt like he'd be in jeopardy. But I think Gronk was going to go off on the Patriots, and then Fox kind of cut the broadcast because they had heard he got fired at halftime, and they were about to. Gronk was about to go off on him on the Fox halftime show, and they cut it. I want to watch the clip again because I don't know if he like got any words out, but he was about to start going off on Robert Kraft. But you can't be successful doing stuff like that. I mean, they obviously had a dynasty and a coach for 20 years. And they had, like you said, they had Mayo, deemed successor. He was in the building. He spent time with Belichick. He was there for a number of years. He played there for many years. And then to just go and fire a guy after 1 year in which you weren't starting your quarterback at the beginning of the year, your future quarterback. He didn't start for half the season. So you weren't going into it thinking you were a playoff team. You wanted to give it a year, and now you're just dumping a coach and you're going to start all over again. That's really shitty. And bad
Yeah.
organizations do that. You wouldn't expect an organization with recent success like the Patriots to do something like that. It's more of a Panthers thing.
Or Browns.
I wasn't going to say it.
I'll
Thinking
say it. I
about
don't give a
the
fuck.
Freddie Kitchens and the Mike Pettins and the Chuds.
That I think back about it too. Like, I think Chudzinski got a raw deal. Um, Mike Pettin sucked. But the Freddie Kitchens thing, like they were put in a bind, because it was like we should have hired Greg Williams as the head coach. He did a great job as the intern, and
Dr. Heat.
he's a fiery guy. He gets the team hyped up. Maybe there's a bounty or two. Who's to say? Um,
Maybe we paid a couple guys to injure some of their guys. It's no big deal.
but offensive coordinators are the hot commodity in the NFL, and they knew that at that year as OC, Freddie Kitchens unlocked so much potential in Baker with these play calls, and he was doing all kinds of crazy trick plays and whatnot, and it looked like it was going to be a can't miss hire. Because it's if
Mm-hmm.
you don't hire him as the head coach, he's going to leave and he's going to be an OC somewhere else and then be a head coach soon.
Mm-hmm.
So it was tough. There was no really other decision we could have made, but I don't know. I mean, even looking back at it, like the biggest the biggest problem with the Browns or as an organization is the ownership. The Haslams are fucking awful. Um, I wish that I wish that there was like a way to just fucking force owners to sell if they were like constantly putting out a bad product
Mm-hmm.
because that's what the Haslams are doing. I mean, they don't give a fuck. It's just they're just throwing money at people that shouldn't be getting money thrown at them. Um, I don't know. It's frustrating. I don't feel like the Browns are ever going to be in a position to truly win while the Haslams are at the helm.
Mm-hmm. There's only one way to make an owner sell, and the Redskins did it with Snyder, and I think they did it with the Panthers too. But
Well, the
if
Clippers did it with what's his face,
Well, that was
Donald
racism.
Sterling.
You gotta get
Yeah,
Haslam
so
being
you can do that
racist.
too. You
I
can.
guess there's more than one way. Okay,
Yeah, there's
you got me.
there's more
But
than one way to skin a cat. There, big cat.
you got to make the owners think you're fucking them over because they did that with Dan Snyder. He wasn't being truthful with how much money the team was making, and he was withholding some of the money because they pool all the money together as owners, and then they fucking split it however they fucking split it. But there's a certain buy-in you have to make to the NFL and to the other owners. He wasn't being truthful. So if you start fucking with their money or you start making them look bad,
Hmm.
then that's how you get rid of owners and force them to sell. Or you can be a little racist about a basketball game, but um, that's just good old fashioned stuff that they don't do anymore.
It's just locker room talk, you know.
Guys being guys, you know. Didn't want black guys in his games, you know. Um, fuck, I don't even know who we were talking about anymore. Patriots, Jaguars, Colts. I didn't even realize this game went to overtime. I saw McAfee's suite was empty. Like not a single fucking person was in it. That was funny. And did you see his tweets and his rant about the Colts after last week, after they got
Yeah, he
eliminated?
went off,
Yeah, he was pissed.
and
I saw
I don't blame him.
right before you hopped on, I saw that Jim Irsay tweeted that he believes in Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard, so they're not going to change a fucking thing. That's
Well,
crazy.
I don't see it. I don't know that I see a problem with those guys. I think it doesn't matter what kind of a coach you are. You know, it could be Mike Tomlin. You know, and I mean, look at what's going on in Pittsburgh with Pickens. You know, you have these players that you're putting all this money into, and it's like these owners tell you, well, you just got to fucking deal with it. You know, that's what's happening with the Colts. I think that they just have more players than just George Pickens that are causing problems. Anthony Richardson quit on the team this year. Like,
That was so funny.
I don't care where you were drafted, what is expected of you. Like, you have to send a message to somebody that's going to do that to your team, and they just put him right back out there.
Yeah.
Um,
The
he's a
fucking
piece of
Niners
shit.
executed that linebacker that quit on them.
Yeah,
And
as that's what should happen.
yeah.
They'll never do that to a quarterback. They'll do it to, defensive players or maybe a different offensive player,
Yeah.
but they'll never do it to a quarterback. And
They
here's the
benched him and
thing.
put Flacco in, and then they brought him right back after a couple bad games. They're like, "Oh, Richardson's starting again." Then Flacco was starting again. Snip, snap, snip, snap.
Richardson's not even that good. And
Fucking blows. We lost to that motherfucker. That's why I'm so goddamn mad about losing to the Colts. We lost to fucking Anthony
yeah,
Richardson.
he's not that good. He's an athlete. I'll give him that. But it, he had what he had a stretch last year where it was like 3 or 4 games where he like looked really good, and then he got a concussion, and then right back down to earth. He's just not that good. So it's mind blowing that you would let somebody just kind of fuck your team up completely. Just
Yeah,
I don't know, because he's the culture problem for sure.
yeah. And they wasted a fourth overall pick on him. No, it's yeah, that blows. That blows for Colts fans. It blows for that autistic guy that makes the Colts songs before the games every week. What was his name? Seth.
This
I think
is
his name's
our
Seth.
Colts.
Yeah.
This is our team. We bleed
Bleed
blue.
blue. It gets stuck in my head. I fucking hate it. And
There's
then
so
this
many.
the Steelers game, he was like, "Beat the Steelers. We're gonna steal this one from them." I was like, "God damn it, that's actually a fucking banger."
I'm on bad musician TikTok because I send so many videos to you of them, and like I get so many of these fucking horrible ass musician songs stuck in my head. Like I've sent it to you before. There's these two guys that are like a country band, and they are the absolute fucking worst. Like it's so bad. And I get it stuck in my head all the time.
Dude, these algorithms don't make any sense. I sent you guys that picture of the minions sucking each other's
You're
dicks the other
you're
day. Like, why does that pop up on my Twitter feed? There was no room
I
for
don't know,
that.
Alec. Why does it pop up on your Twitter
There's
feed?
no
What are
reason.
you searching on Twitter?
There's no reason. I think just because I save things like that when they pop up and I use them as memes against you guys, they're like, "Oh, this guy likes minions sucking each other's dicks. I'm gonna send him more of that stuff." It's ridiculous. I didn't ask for that. I used it, but I didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
Commanders, Cowboys. Fuck Jerry Jones forever. When people say NFL players are greedy, they need to know this story that Jerry Jones sat Cooper Rush when he had a $500,000 incentive on playing 55% of the Cowboys' offensive snaps this season, which is a pretty good deal as a backup quarterback, only making $1 or $2 million a year. You're going to get a $500,000 check for playing 55% of the snaps because your quarterback went down. He sat him to not get the $500,000 incentive. When
That's
you're
so
a
fucked up.
oil billionaire and you're a Cowboys billionaire like that, and you sit a guy over 500K who's a backup who actually could really use that money, fuck these owners, man. That's
Yeah.
insane.
Because you see the bad side of it in Jerry Jones like that, and then you see the good side of it in Buffalo today. Their game didn't matter. They punted from the other team's 36-yard line today to get their punter. He had to get one more punt within the 20-yard line to get $100,000 bonus. And they
That's
made sure
cool.
they punted from the 36 to get him that.
That's cool. There's some like I think the Bucks had their game wrapped up, and Mike Evans needed another
Eight
catch,
yards.
8 and 8 yards for his. It was a $3 million incentive. They gave it to him. Game was wrapped up, and he got it, and he was celebrating. It was freaking awesome.
Well,
But
but it was for more than just the incentive. He tied Jerry Rice for
yeah,
most consecutive seasons over 1,000 yards receiving with 11, which is like somebody said it. I saw a tweet about it. It said, Mike Evans is like the quietest first ballot Hall of Famer that you'll ever see. And it's
yeah.
true. Like he's got to be first ballot. I mean, it's insane the numbers that he's put up year after year.
hmm He's been incredibly consistent. Even his injury years, he's getting 1,000 yards. I mean, that's nuts for a receiver. Um, I had this screenshotted, but now that we're talking about incentives, I kind of want to go over the ones that were up for today. I don't know how many of these actually hit, but DeAndre Hopkins needed a touchdown for 500K. I don't think he played. I don't even know if they scored a touchdown. They were down 34-0 when I saw. Um, Mike Evans needed the 5 catches and 85 yards for $3 million. He got that. We just talked about it. Geno Smith, did you know how much money he was playing for today?
No.
$6 million in
Oh
incentives.
my God.
This was the highest one. And so I heard this morning, and I almost in our anytime touchdown scorer parlay that we do, I almost picked Jackson Smith and Jigba because I knew Gino was playing for $6 million. I think he had a $2 million bonus for getting to 10 wins, and a $2 million bonus for completion percentage, and another $2 million bonus for something else. 186 passing yards for a 2 million bonus, 2 million bonus for Seahawks win, and 10 wins, and then the completion percentage. So he was playing for $6 million today, and I think he got it. Cortland
That's
Sutton needed
insane.
82 yards for 500K. Pollard needed 83 for 250. Um, Josh Sweat needed 2 sacks. J.K. Dobbins needed 58 rush yards for 100K. None of these are really interesting anymore. Baker got 500K for being top 10 in completion percentage, but he makes $100 million now. So, I mean, that's good money, I guess.
I fucking
Um,
love Baker. I hate us so much for not keeping him.
oh, Ertz needed 2 touchdowns for 250K. We laughed at Willie
He
for picking him in the touchdown parlay. I think he got the 2 touchdowns too, because he got the touchdown, and then I texted the group that he scored, and I think he scored another one, or maybe it was the other tight end. It'd been cool if he got that. Henry needed a touchdown for 500K. Mixon, Hollins. Brock Bowers needed 9 receptions to break Zach Ertz's single season tight end receptions record. I think he did it because I saw people tweeting about him. But I took my girls outside to play instead of watching that game. Saquon only needed 101 yards to break the rush yard record, but obviously he sat
They should
out.
have played him.
Yeah, pussies.
How
Stroud.
how like you just don't get close to that record very often. Like you should have fucking played him.
Yeah, yeah, that's the real incentives. That's it. That was cool. The Geno Smith one fucking blew my mind that he was gonna get $6 million for the wins and then all the stuff he had. What else we
Some
got?
of these guys they bet on them. some of these guys bet on themselves and it comes up big, like a situation like that. Or like, who was there's an offensive lineman a few years ago now that he had like half of his contract converted to Bitcoin. And
Yeah.
when he did it, everybody was like, "Oh my God, you're such a fucking idiot. That's so dumb." And like it just came out. I saw it earlier this season, like how much he actually made from that. And
Hmm.
it was like way fucking more than what his contract would have been.
Yeah. It
So it's
was
like some
down
of these
for so
guys,
long. And then when
yeah.
Trump got elected, it skyrocketed and went over 100K. And I think his $13 million that he got in Bitcoin, it was down for a while, and then I think now it's worth over $45 million. I want to say so. It was nuts that, yeah, that turned around really well for him. Giants Eagles, no one really cares. The Eagles still won somehow. I think Tanner McKee was playing. That guy's a stud. Um, Bears Packers. The Bears were on an 11 game losing streak to the Packers, and they won on a last second field goal today. I was watching that game. Caleb actually looked really good. For all the Caleb haters out there, I want to pull this up. I saw out of 28 quarterbacks drafted number one overall since 1967, Caleb ranks 15th in record, which, yeah, they kind of suck this year. Fourth in completion percentage out of number one overall quarterbacks, first in touchdown to interception ratio, and fourth in rush yards per game. So everyone says Caleb sucks. He didn't have an awful year. Their offense was dog shit. Eberflus was retarded. Thomas Brown wasn't that great of an OC. If they get him a guy that's really going to develop him, I think he's going to be good still. He had an okay year, didn't turn the ball over a shitload, but um, people bag on Caleb. I think he's going to be
Yeah,
good.
he had a lot better of a year than I think what people credit him for. And it's just because of how bad Chicago was and how
Yeah.
bad he looked at times,
And how
getting
good
sacked
Jaden
and
Daniels
doing.
was.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels had a string of like 4 or 5 weeks where it was like, holy fuck, like this guy might win the MVP, and then he
Yeah.
came back down to earth. But to go back to it, because I Googled it while we were doing that. Russell Okung was the player that did
Hmm.
it, the most notable player that did it. He converted 6.5 million of his $13 million contract into Bitcoin, and as of 2 months ago, that 6.5 million is worth 21 million.
Yeah.
That's an insane, return.
That's 3.5 times your investment. Yeah, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny when they were doing that, when Bitcoin spiked up, it was on Twitter. They brought it back up. And Odell started getting jealous. He's like, "Well, I took some of my salary in Bitcoin too a couple years ago," and he took like $500,000 of this. Russell Okung literally bet $6.5 million on it and freaking won.
Hmm.
But Odell was trying to be an attention whore.
Yeah. I'm glad that Odell fell off.
What? Who was he on? Was he in Miami this year?
Yeah, for most of the year.
He got cut a couple weeks ago, right?
I think so. I'm interested to see
The
if
Steelers should
anybody
sign him.
signs. I'm interested to see if anybody signs Zeke because the Cowboys cut him to allow him to try to join a playoff contender.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Um,
interested to see if anybody, brings him on. Because I mean, he's still not a bad running back. I mean, he's not what he was, obviously, but
the Pardon My Take guys
he
were
can.
laughing. They're like, no one's gonna fucking pick up this guy. They like picked him. They sent him to, or they cut him to get him a playoff team, and then the Pardon My Take guys were like, literally, no one's gonna pick him up.
It'll happen because somebody will get hurt. The first week round of the playoffs or something, and they're gonna need somebody. And he's played all year, so he's in game shape.
Yeah, I think he could go to like a Ravens. The Chiefs will probably end up doing it because they did it with like LaShawn McCoy to try and get him a
Yeah.
ring way back when. Seahawks Rams. The Seahawks did end up winning. You know, this is weird to me. I saw the tweet yesterday that the Rams were sitting everyone and resting them. And then when the Bucks won today, and I started watching some of the Seahawks Rams game, they were talking about how the Rams could fall from the 3 seed to the 4 seed. I was like, why the fuck are they resting everyone if seeding is at stake? Was McVay just okay with the fact that they were going to get one home game and then just be done with home games? Like it's kind of shocking to me that
Probably.
seeding was at stake, and they didn't play anybody.
Well, I think if there was a chance of them not getting a home game, they would have played everybody. But if they were guaranteed to get, at least the first game to be home, I think that they just don't care. I think that rest is a little bit more important at that point because you got so many guys that are nursing like little injuries here and there. Like they can still play, but they're just not 100%. So I think that, he just sees the opportunity to try to get people a little bit healthier.
That's crazy because they're now that they dropped to the 4 seed, they're gonna have to play the Lions or the Vikings, who are duking it out right now for the 1 and the 5 seed. That kind of freaking I don't know. It's kind of crazy to me that he was sitting everyone to try and get rested. It's 3-7, so we'll
Yeah.
finish this up and then we'll be able to watch the second half.
Oh, I'm
Um,
gonna pass the fuck out. I already got my melatonin in me.
um, Jets, Dolphins. I saw people getting excited. The Jets actually a competent today. I think Rodgers had 4 touchdowns and a pick. Um, but he had like a Rodgers stat line that was like 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, whatever. And then people on Twitter were like, "Oh, what could have been if Rodgers played like this all year?" It's like if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. Like the guy fucking sucks. We talked about it already, but the guy fucking blew, man.
Yeah.
And the Dolphins, we were talking about coaches getting fired. I just saw a tweet that uh, the ownership came out in support of the GM and the coach for the Dolphins, so they're not getting fired. Which I didn't really suspect it with the Tua injury, but you know he didn't look good when he was playing either.
I feel like I'm in the minority, but I really like McDaniels. Um, I think he's awesome.
They were
You know,
fun as shit when
he's
their offense was hitting last year.
yeah, he's funny. He doesn't take shit serious, but I feel like it's a fine line because I think that he's a little bit too nonchalant at times to
Mm-hmm.
where he can't rein it back in with the team. Like what was the saying I always heard was like, as a coach, like you can start off mean and be and then be nice and still have the respect of your team. But if you start off too nice, your team is never going to respect you and they're not going to believe it when you're trying to be like serious.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like McDaniels is at a place where he's almost been too goofy and too joking that a lot of the guys don't take him serious. Like I just saw on Instagram, um, Tyreek say he wants out.
I just got a text about it right now from another group chat. That's funny. Steelers. We're in every
Everything,
receiver conversation,
every
dude. We're in every single fucking
every
receiver
single
conversation.
every single receiver that hits the free agent market, you're like, oh, we're gonna sign him. We're getting him for sure.
I thought we were going to trade and sign Justin Jefferson before the season.
You got a Jefferson.
Yeah, we got Van Jefferson, the
Yeah.
fucking retarded cousin of Justin Jefferson, the Coach Chase of fucking Jeffersons. Uh,
Wow, what if Coach Chase is a listener?
that'd be wild, dude. Coach Chase, if you're listening to this, like hit me up, like DM me.
He's
Like I'm
definitely
sports.
not watching, but he might be listening.
You asshole. For information, Coach Chase was our quarterback coach at Malone in college, a Division II college football team, and he was legally blind. So, fun story that our quarterback coach was legally blind. Um, yeah, that's the college we went to. That was fun. The football team we played. Um, yeah, Dolphins. I guess they're gonna stick with all the same shit. They signed Tua. McDaniel's coming back. So no Tyreek. Looks like Chiefs, Broncos. Broncos 38, Chiefs 0. Are the Chiefs in trouble, dude? Bad loss like this right before the playoffs start. That's kind of a big
I
thing.
would love to see them lose their first game in the playoffs. Fuck the Chiefs.
That'd be awesome. They're getting what 25 days off. That's fucking insane because they played on Christmas and clinched the number 1 seed. Didn't play anybody today. We'll have a bye week next week, and then they're getting 25 days off. It's fucking nuts.
If the Chiefs would have won today, I would have won like $100.
Did you pick them to win?
Well, Joey put out that in the group chat what was needed for the Bengals to win to make the playoffs. So I put a
Oh,
little bit of money. I put a little bit of money on a future of the Bengals to make the playoffs, which would have won. But got me like $60 or something like that. And then I
Mm.
put like $2.76 on a parlay of um Bengals to win, Chiefs to win, and Jets to win. And the Chiefs were the only ones that didn't do their part.
No, I picked the Broncos to win in my pick'ems, but I didn't expect them to win 38-0. That was fucking nuts.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what you get when you have a team that's fighting for playoff position and another team that has nothing to play for.
Hmm.
So, you know,
I'm assuming our parlay didn't hit, but what missed on our
no, it
parlay?
didn't.
Ertz hit.
Everything.
Mine hit. Cortland
Your
Sutton.
yeah, but yours was a late game. It hit early in the later slot.
Oh, we
Um,
failed in the morning.
yeah,
Did
yeah.
Mike Evans score? Someone
Um,
picked him, but I didn't know if he scored a touchdown or not.
no, I don't think he scored a touchdown. I think
Okay.
he got his yards that he needed, but I don't think he scored a touchdown. Joey picked him. Let me.
Joey missed
I
last
gotta.
week too, that motherfucker.
Here it is. Tony Pollard missed. That was Dan picked Tony Pollard. Mike Evans missed. That was Joey. Cortland Sutton was you that hit. Also, Willie tried to pick Cortland Sutton, so
Fucking
maybe you both
asshole.
won.
I messed up picking George Pickens that one time, but fucking Willie.
Travis picked J.K. Dobbins, who also did not score a touchdown.
I'm gonna give him shit
Zach.
because
So
he.
right now it's just you and Joey, or I mean you and Willie that have picked the right ones, which is
Mm.
crazy because you two are normally the ones that don't fucking get it
That's
right.
not fucking true. That's not fucking true at all. I missed a couple.
Um,
I hit way more than I missed.
yeah, I've got Amon Ra in this game right now, so it's still a chance, but it's almost halftime now.
Yeah,
Um,
it's low
but
scoring.
I think the last like 4 or 5 weeks I've gotten mine right every time, which doesn't say much because we're always either like three or four guys get it right, and then we just miss out
Too.
on the other ones. It's
Yeah,
hard to pick a three leg,
much
touchdown
less
scores,
six.
let
Yeah,
alone six.
no, 100%. If you guys aren't doing this, everyone should have a group anytime touchdown score betting thing. It's a lot of fun. We went 0 for 18, but it was a lot of fun. Um,
Were we 0 for 18? I don't think we started right at the beginning of the season.
oh, really? I just knew we didn't hit a single fucking one.
No, we didn't hit a single one, but I think we started like week 3 or 4, maybe. I think one of us brought it up and started doing it.
Dan hit his yesterday. That was cool. I think he had Jamar Chase touchdown, Bengals money line, Muth
Muth.
touchdown. Did he do an over? I don't think so.
He had to have done something else to have that odds.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he actually put money wise on the bet.
Yeah, he won like $300. That was cool.
Because I only do like $5 or so. I think or last year was when Travis, Willie, me, and Dan went to Cincinnati for the game, and I
Hmm.
hit my big parlay, and I think I bet like $10, which is I never do. I normally never bet that much. And I hit for like $370 or something like that.
Fuck yeah.
But overall this year was I'm not good at betting. I don't know why I do it.
Well, get ready because we're doing anytime touchdown scores next week, and there's only like 6 games.
Oh, we're fucked.
um, Chargers, Raiders. Chargers bumped the Steelers down to the 6th seed with their win. They get to go play Houston. Um, I like the Chargers. I don't think they're better than we are, but we should have won some games, and we could have proved that. Um, I really kind of hope this is extremely unlikely, so don't take this very seriously. But if the Steelers played the AFC Championship game in LA against the Chargers, I would fucking be there. But you give me that face, you jackass. I said it wasn't going to happen.
I was actually not laughing at you. I just sent something in the Instagram chat that made me laugh. Um,
It
but that
says
is
need
still
some
funny what you
slonking,
said too. Yeah.
which is funny because someone, I think I saw it on Twitter, someone said, what happens if the Rams host an NFC Championship game and the Chargers host an AFC Championship game? And I was like, it's fucking
Ooh.
hilarious that you think that the Chargers could actually host an AFC Championship game someday. And now I really
Well,
want it to happen.
as much as I fucking hate the guy, Jim Harbaugh. Got that team going.
Yeah, they look good, man. Herbert looks good. Niners Cardinals. This game didn't matter for anything, but the Cardinals put up 47 points. And then we got the Lions and the Vikings going right now. It's 7-6, about to be halftime. Um, I had some other notes we can hit before we go. You can go take your power nap. Coach is getting fired. I wanted to talk and see. We have Saints open, Jets open. Fuck. Someone else got fired in the season. Who the fuck got fired? There were three openings.
Saints and Jets
Saints,
are the ones that I know of for sure.
Jets. There's a third one. It's gonna fucking kill me.
Now the Patriots is open.
Yeah, that's the third one. I was talking about it on Pardon My Take. Let me see real quick. It's gonna kill me. I need to know. The Bears. It just came to me. The Bears coach is open. You got four coach openings right now. Usually the cycle is 6 to 7 per year. Kind of surprised Miami's not doing it. I don't think the Browns are gonna do it. I don't think the Titans would be one and done, but they shocked everyone last year when they fired Vrabel. That was probably one of the most shocking firings I've seen. Um, the Panthers aren't going to fire their coach. They ended on too high of a note. The Giants could fire Dayball. He's been there long enough to where they've sucked too
Yeah, he
long.
sucks too.
Yeah,
He's not good.
yeah. I think his run his course in New York. Um, Antonio Pierce, I could see getting let go of in Vegas, but I don't know. They really wanted him. He was a player, kind of like how Mayo. I mean, I guess Mayo was the same
Yeah, but
situation.
Pierce didn't play with the Raiders, I thought
Oh, you're right.
he
You're
was
right.
he was a giant.
He was a giant. I'm just thinking because he grew up a Raiders fan in LA. Um, that made me think he had more ties to the organization, but he just loved the Raiders. I don't.
But
That would be a hard one. He's a player's
they
coach. That would be
don't
hard.
he is, and he's a great defensive mind. They didn't have a quarterback. I mean,
They got screwed last year because they were one pick away from getting one of the five guys, and Bo Nix balled out this year, and he was um,
yeah,
right before the Raiders pick.
which
And
I honestly did not expect Bo Nix to come in and be good.
no, I don't think anybody did. I think all five of them were kind of decent. You got Caleb, you got Jaden, Drake May looks like he's going to be the guy. Bo Nix looks like he's going to be the guy in Denver. Who's the fifth one I'm leaving out? Rookie quarterback. I thought there were five this year in the top 12. Penix,
Yeah, Penix.
who knows? He only played 3 games. So just going through the draft order. Giants probably going to fire their coach. Titans, maybe. It went pretty bad this year. Patriots fired their coach. Oh, the Jaguars are going to fire Doug Peterson. I'm shocked he made it through the season.
Yeah,
To be as decent as they've been
I
in
don't know
recent,
what's wrong with them. They're like cursed.
says team needs corner, O tackle, safety, interior O lineman, and tight end.
I
That's
thought
nuts.
Evan Ingram had a great year this year.
Yeah, I guess he did. Yeah, weird. I
Maybe is he
sneaky
going to be a
thought
free
that
agent?
I sneaky thought the Niners might consider letting Shanahan go. This year
I
was
don't
like
think so.
such a disappointment. Am I the only one that thinks it was a disappointment?
Yeah,
Because they're gonna pay Purdy. They're gonna lose a shitload of guys to um, cap hits because like they've lost DeForest Buckner in the past. They lost Eric Armstead last year. Um, they've got guys that are gonna get cut because of this. There's gonna be like Javon Hargrave or Debo Samuel could be a guy like that, or Kittle, or they could cut some big pieces. And I don't think their window is closing fast. If next year's the last year Purdy's under a rookie contract, like that's the end of the window. Cowboys, yay or nay on Mike
well,
McCarthy?
I didn't even realize that. I think they should find. I don't think McCarthy's that good of a coach, honestly.
He went 12 and
Um,
5 3 straight years.
Again, yeah, I just they have a lot of talent there. As much as people like to talk shit about Dak, I still think he's a good quarterback when he's healthy. Um, I don't know. I don't know. There's something. It's that merry-go-round, like I said before, where
Yeah.
it's like you were a head coach before, you're going to be a head coach again. Um, I just don't think McCarthy's that good.
Yeah, I think he's going to get fired.
But who knows?
Jerry Jones
Jerry
is
Jones is
desperate to
Jerry
win.
Jones just likes being in control. Yeah, he just
Yeah.
likes being in control. So, he could make a move just to assert his dominance again.
Hmm.
But who knows? I didn't realize I was going to say though, the the Niners like didn't really play anybody today. They didn't play a lot of starters.
Yeah, I know Purdy was hurt and they weren't playing for anything, so Dobbs played, and then
Purdy was hurt. So Dobbs played. They had a running back, Patrick Taylor was their leading uh, rusher.
it's like their
Ricky
six.
Pearsall got, tons of snaps.
That's good.
He got shot this year.
Yeah, that linebacker quitting like made everyone talk about him getting shot. Um, Dolphins aren't firing their coach. Colts aren't going to fire their coach. Falcons are not going to fire Raheem Morris. Cardinals 8-9. They're not going to fire the guy. Bengals. I don't know. I think having a full healthy
No,
season of Joe Burrow, they're not going to fire him, but just thinking like the seat could be getting a little hot having a full healthy season of Joe Burrow. Because last time you had a full healthy season of Joe Burrow, you barely lost a Super Bowl game. That should be the expectation. If your quarterback stays healthy all year, you need to be A, making the playoffs, B, winning a playoff game or two. I think not making the playoffs is incredibly disappointing. And starting slow, like you said, is really, really disappointing. But
yeah, but
they're cheap too.
what saved his ass is how hot they got to the end of the year. Um,
Yeah, ending the year buys you a lot. Like the Panthers, like he could have been one and done if they played bad throughout the year, but looking like there's a future now, he's going to be fine.
yeah. But like the thing with the Bengals is I'm telling you, if they could just figure out that first month of the season, whatever it is that's holding them in conditioning right, getting, up to speed with the playbook, whatever it is, they're doing something not right that's causing them to have such a lull to start the season. If they can figure that out and just, start like a normal team and, play, at least decent for the first few weeks, there'll be playoffs every year. But you can't start out 1-4 or whatever it was that they
Hmm.
were and expect to make the playoffs. Like that's just, I mean, you've put yourself into such a fucking hole that you almost can't afford to lose any more games.
Yeah, and they did that and they won out 5 games, but there was already the damage was done. Crazy, crazy. All right, let's transition a little bit to college football. Your Buckeyes dominated the Oregon
Yeah,
Ducks, gave me a fucking full chub. I hate Oregon with everything in my being, so I'm glad Ohio State won. I was telling you guys at the end of the first quarter to live bet them to win the national championship. The way they looked beating
I did.
Oregon, that's fucking.
I did.
There's no
I put 20
way.
bucks on it.
There's no way they lose to Penn State, Notre Dame, or Texas. There's absolutely no way. They're so good, and the last 2 games have
Texas
been the best they played
Texas
all
is the one
season.
that scares me the most.
Quinn
Texas
Ewers
is the one this
blows,
one
dude.
Friday.
Quinn Ewers fucking
Yeah, but
blows. Dylan Gabriel's so much better than Quinn
I
Ewers.
don't know. But it's one of those things where it's a storyline game, because Ewers started out at Ohio, so he left. So it's almost like it's just like a story type of thing. But I don't know. They're the ones that worry me the most. I honestly, I don't know who I want to play more if we win this game. Um, I would love to beat the shit out of Notre Dame just because I fucking hate Notre Dame.
I want you to embarrass Notre
But
Dame.
I'd also be kind of worried though if we end up having to play Penn State just because we've already played them once. I still don't think Drew Aller is very good. I think a lot of people give him a lot of credit where I don't think it's really that due.
Hmm.
Everybody expected him to be this great quarterback, and I've just never seen it. But I don't know. It's you get to this point in the season, I think everybody makes you a little bit nervous. But watching the Buckeyes play, how they played against Tennessee, and then
Oregon.
last week against Oregon, it just where's this team been all year? It's fucking nuts. Jeremiah Smith, I mean, that dude's unstoppable.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that
150.
I think he'd be a top five pick right now as a true freshman in the
Hmm.
NFL draft.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Just have a fucking 17-year-old receiver getting drafted. He's so fucking
Yeah.
cool. Um, no, they fucking killed Oregon. They dominated Tennessee. Um, Texas, Texas should have lost to Arizona State, and Arizona State got absolutely fucked at the end of that game. The target on the last drive. Um,
Yeah.
I wanted them to win so bad. I first of all, I've hated Texas since 2005, since Vince Young fucking ran in that fourth down play. But
When
um,
his knee was down.
his knee was down earlier in the game. Reggie Bush tried to pitch a ball for no reason. That was dumb as fuck. I go back and I watch that 30 for 30 sometimes. We were up like 16 points in the first half or in the third quarter. I was like, how the fuck did we blow that game? But yeah, that was 20 years ago. Jesus Christ. Um,
It's insane.
I was in what, sixth grade, seventh grade, something like that. Nuts. Um, no, Quinn Ewers sucks. Arizona State was exposing them. I mean, they went up early, but then they kind of fell apart until overtime. Ohio State's defense is going to be 1,000 times better than Arizona State's. I mean, the SEC was just weak this year, and the fact that Texas is the
Yeah.
last team surviving, um, none of them have seen in Ohio State. I mean, Texas went and blew the shit out of Michigan. That's not the same. Ohio State's much, much better. Um, Notre Dame, I think, is going to handle Penn State. I think they win by 7 to 10 points. Notre Dame is a
Really?
team. Yeah. No, fuck yeah. Penn State, I mean, they had the easiest freaking two games in the world to get here. They
They
kicked the
did.
shit
Yeah.
out of SMU at home. There's like 4 degrees and SMU is from Texas. They fucking froze them out. And then they had Boise State, who we all love the story of Ashton Genty, but they had no business being the number 3 overall seed in the fucking playoff. And
Yeah.
they walked into the semifinals. Now they're going to see a Notre Dame team, which, as much as I fucking hate Notre Dame as well, they're actually really, really good defensively. Um,
They are. Freeman's a great coach.
yeah, I do like Freeman. Um, fuck, we were close to beating Notre Dame too, but we threw two 100-yard pick sixes in the fourth quarter, so that didn't happen. Um,
That'll hurt things.
um, I don't see Texas doing it at all. They should have lost to Arizona State. You guys will beat them by 16 plus points, and then
I
it'll
hope
be
so.
Notre Dame, Ohio State. And I hope Ohio
I
State
know.
embarrasses the fuck out of Notre Dame like Alabama did during the Manti Te'o game.
I mean, obviously, I'm a little bit biased, but I think that we have the best defense in college football, like hands down.
Hmm.
I think that very close to having the best player on both sides of the ball. Obviously, people are going to say Travis Hunter and whatnot, but Caleb Downs is unfucking real. It
Hmm.
still blows my mind that he transferred out of Alabama after being an All American there as a freshman.
Yeah, because Saban left.
Um, but Caleb Downs is unreal. Like you watch like I see on TikTok like the guys breaking down film and whatnot every week. Just like they glaze him so much, and it's true. He's just so fucking good. And
Hmm.
then Jeremiah Smith is unreal. We've got running backs. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like if Ohio State doesn't win this year, even after looking so dominant the first two playoff games, like if we lose this one or if we lose the national championship, like as crazy and fucked up as it sounds, like you almost have to think about getting rid of Ryan Day because you can't keep bringing in this amount of talent and not getting the job done. And I know
Hmm.
like winning a national championship or really any, Super Bowl, World Series, whatever is not an easy thing to do. But when Ohio State they've spent the most money. Granted,
Hmm.
NIL hasn't been around very long, but the most money in NIL in history so far. Got all these other transfers, recruiting. You can't keep bringing in this level of talent and just not getting the job done.
Hmm.
At some point, it comes down to coaching. Now, whether it's Ryan Day or if it's Chip Kelly, trying to get too cute with his play calls, whatever it is, something's got to be done. But the way that they're looking, I think that this is the year for sure. I mean, they just look dominant.
Hmm. Yeah. Speaking of Heisman, Travis Hunter wins the Heisman. I don't think we've been on to talk about it since. So you guys all had bets on Genty to win. Um,
Yeah.
they kind of made it a snaps impressive kind of thing with Hunter. I really think the ESPN and social media kind of swayed a lot of Heisman voters
Oh,
because
100%.
I know a lot of it is political like that, where it's like advertising and stuff. But Genty definitely got discredited for playing in the Mountain West, and Hunter did himself a lot of favors by not getting hurt and playing a shit ton of snaps. And it's kind of impressive doing that, but he was a solid receiver. People think he's the best receiver in this class, and there's no way, shape, or form when that's the case. He would be a
I've
really
seen him
good
ranked.
corner.
I've seen him ranked as like the fourth best receiver in the draft, fourth or
Yeah.
fifth, and then he's not even ranked as like the best corner in the draft. So
Hmm.
it's like, how is this guy the Heisman winner when, like, yes, it's incredible that he was able to play both sides of the ball at a high level, at a Division I level. But Genty, the stats that he put up, you're not going to see running backs put stats up like that,
Hmm.
very often. Like Monty Ball, I think, was the last person to put up big numbers like that, and that was
Yeah.
10 years ago now.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. It sucks because yeah, I had money on it. I got him at like 2,200 odds. So I
Fuck.
put $10 on. $10 would have won me $220, something like that.
Hmm.
Um, so it sucks that Genty didn't win. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough too when you look back at it and you hear like, the people that aren't just glazing Dion and Travis Hunter and Shador,
Hmm.
when these guys break things down and say that, you look at it, Travis Hunter had like a slightly above average wide receiver season. And then as
Hmm.
a corner, tackle wise, interception wise, like he wasn't even close to being ranked up in the top.
Hmm.
And then Dion is crying because he's not Travis Hunter didn't win every single award possible. It's like,
Hmm.
that's where things get skewed because you got guys like loud people like Dion that are gonna, constantly make this, whether it be a race thing, a fucking, you know, whatever he wants to turn it into. It just doesn't make sense to me because like I get going to bat for your players, but Travis Hunter doesn't need you to bat for him. Like he's proven himself,
Hmm.
but he shouldn't have been the Heisman winner.
Yeah. 100%. Oh man, what a season! What a season! What a season! Are you
I'm
gonna
glad it's
con
over.
Are you gonna congratulate me on being the only guy in the group chat to have a playoff team?
I'm gonna congratulate you to suck my dick.
Wow. Okay, that escalated. I'm happy Ohio State's still in. I'm rooting for them. Fuck all the other teams. I don't really have beef with Penn State, but fuck Notre Dame and fuck Texas. Um,
Well, that's because you support a lot of what Penn State used to do.
Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Oh, the fuck. All right,
Uh,
man. Thanks for getting on. I love you. Playoffs
no
are
problem. Love you
here.
too, buddy. Go Steelers. Ugh.
Ooh.
Ugh.
I,
Yeah,
I like it when you make that gagging sound.
that's because you can't ever get that sound to come up.
Okay. All right. All right. Love you, buddy.
All
Thanks for
right.
getting on.
Yep. Love you too. Fuck
Let's do it again
Iowa.
soon. Fuck Iowa. Yeah, they're nowhere to be
Yeah,
found.
let's
Those guys.
recap first round playoffs next week, maybe.
Yeah, sounds good. I might jump on and do a little preview because it'll only take me like 10 minutes this week. But yeah, let's do a recap next weekend or something. All right.
All righty.
Love you, buddy. Have a good one. See you later.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.